Hi, I'm Ilya from Bitskout, and in this video I wanted to show you how Bitskout can help you in your Asana projects. So in example, what you see here is a simple board where we imagine a content creation function where we have drafts, and then if the content, by content I mean an email, a blog post or newsletter article is done, it's moved to a review phase, and then we have it approved and it moves to publishing. Now we added extra step here in form of a section called sentiment review, where we actually invoke a Bitskout AI to check the sentiment of an article. The idea is that we want to ensure that whatever communication we create sends a positive message, which is important in many industries, and which actually influences your customer perception. Now, as an example, I created extra rules here that I will talk in another video with more details, but let's create an additional blog post about Asana. Okay, so the rules have been added me as an assignee, then added a couple of tags. And what happens is, let's imagine that I have written this draft already done, and in order to run it on real text, I'm using Bastian Siebman's blog post from Medium about why Asana is really important. It's a very interesting blog that you can read later on. Now, what I'm doing is I'm adding his blog post here. The rule is moving it to sentiment review automatically because there is an attachment. And then in sentiment review, it's automatically marked complete in order to invoke a workflow called text positivity check. This is Bitskout workflow. Okay. Now what happens on the back end? Bitskout is checking all the text, and depending on what kind of sentiment it finds, in this case it already has found a positive sentiment, it marks it as approved. And the blog automatically is moved to final review. Okay. And to show you an example, what happens if the blog is not having a different sentiment. We're going to use another example. So I'm using again the Bastian's Siebman blog post, but from another article about guests in Asana. And let's see what happens when we do that. So the moment I attach the blog, and it's automatically moved to sentiment review, automatically the workflow is invoked once the task is marked complete. I made a rule that marks it complete automatically. The text in the attachment will be checked for sentiment. Depending on the results, it's either gonna move here to final review because it's positive, so we can continue, or it's gonna be moved back to draft because they need an extra review. So in this case, as you can see, the text is neutral. And it means that depending on what is our content strategy, it can be reviewed once again and maybe updated. Okay, just to show you how the system works. So this thing we will remove that. We're doing this for just to see that it worked out. And this is how the submission looks like in our system, which it was rejected. Okay, so I hope it gives you like a small overview of how Bitskout works. We now use tags to invoke our AI, but whatever feedback you have, and we'll be happy to hear. Thanks a lot, and let's stay in touch.